Welcome to selfdiscoveryradio.com, where the orchard of wisdom is just ready for picking. We celebrate your why, the journey that you've taken that inspires someone else. We support your services, we support your story. Come and be our guest, become a host, be an author with us. Come and see what we've got. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another show of Central Expressions. I'm your host, Sara Troy, and today we are interviewing Nunaisi Ma. She's all the way from South Africa. We're going to be talking about the sexual wounds, turning our wounds into the golden power of sexual alchemy. She says that our sexual wounds are an epidemic, and her sacred mission is to create a global shift in the relationship of our sensuality into our claim to the divinity that is primal, a creative life force energy. Her work is around sexual alchemy and how to transform wounds into the golden power of awakening. And her book, which will be coming out soon and just has won an award, so we will have that with you later as soon as it's published. Her book is about her own healing journey after years of molestation and the healing wounds that she has discovered along the way. And I recently did an interview with somebody who as a child was molested all the way through his childhood. And then the journey after that to find his value and his worth and to trust love and everything else is a very heavy journey. And the journey that you're doing here for people is to try and make it something that is more of a beautiful awakening in its recovery, rather than reiterating the pain that has been. Welcome to the show, love.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. And I used to live in South Africa, folks. It's a very cool country. Go visit.
Yes.
You're not originating from South Africa, though?
No, I was born in Latvia and grew up in Israel.
Right. So you've been around, now you're in South Africa, and who knows where you're going to be next. But the sexual and central awakening, let's first look to what that means before we get to the wounds, because in media today, 50 Shades of Grey, and then you've got the taboo on even mentioning the word sex, and then sex is thrown around as if it's confetti. There is so much confusion now on what is our sensuality, what is our sexuality, what is our femininity, or even our masculinity. How do we step into that? Are there any boundaries? With the misogynistic approach that's going on out there, especially in America, we're looking at, why can't we step into our womanness without a man thinking it's an invitation? There's so much confusion, isn't there, love?
Yes, absolutely. It's been years of generations and generations of mutated relationship with our sexuality. It came from years of patriarchy and the very mixed messages that we all received, very much religious haunting, no matter from which religious you're coming from. And for me, it's a phase in our evolution that represents the fear of this powerful energy, which is our sexuality. And our sexuality is divine.
Yes.
And this is the place that we will come back home when we start to relate to our sexuality as divine, when we start to relate to our connection with another as a prayer. And then making love becomes a prayer, becomes a connection with the higher forces. What can be more divine than the energy that creates life?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And sensuality is being in tune to all of your senses. It is stepping into the senses of life, and that raises our sexuality. We're not talking about fornication here. We're talking about the love of self and the making love of self, which again isn't about fornication. It is about loving the divine presence of who you are and doing everything from that place of love and that sensual connection, the sensuality of your beingness. That's what we're inviting people to be.
Yes, exactly. Our senses are beautiful gateways for us to experience this reality. we are all divine souls having a body experience.
Yes.
We are embodying our souls, and there's so much shame when it comes to the body.
Yeah.
We all carry so much shame and comparison and competition and the beauty. We all want to feel beautiful. This is just the feminine attribute, the feminine energy, and the beauty has been so exploited by the media and by objectification.
Yes.
And so we all don't know what is happening, what is going on. We've got our internal signals that calls us to explore this divine flow of energy of it's actually the energy of creation. It's the energy of Mother Earth that moves through us, and it can come out in many ways of expression. It can come out in everything we actually create.
Yes. And that could be a document, or it could be a piece of art. You know, it's what is your creative gift. And whether you are writing a bill for government or whether you're creating a Picasso, that is the gift, that is your art. And when you allow that central energy to come through you, then the truth of what you're doing will come through that, won't it?
Yes,
Because
absolutely. That will shine. That's what moves through you.
Yeah.
And a very, for me, the way I see awakening is awakening to the divinity of our body, of our soul. Our body is the sacred temple that carries our soul. And when we awaken to it, then the rest of the journey is to grow it, and share it, and shine it.
Yes, we see too much of the other S word, shaming it, or exploiting it. And you know, I did a show, I think a year ago, and the numbers stay with me, and it just is heartbreaking that the sex trade business, and this could be trafficking, it could be prostitution, any form of that, is $150 billion industry a year around the world. $150 billion a year. And that is 99% exploitation. Right?
Yes,
and if we're not looking at that as an epidemic, now where is it that, I mean, it's been passed down, but who gave somebody the right to objectify another person and to look at them as purely either a commodity or as a piece of property to do whatever they want with? And how also can people ever do that to children? You know, I can't comprehend it. I don't understand what goes through a person's mind. But a lot of that is patterning, isn't it?
It's wounding. The masculine has also been wounded.
Yes. They don't know anything different because that's all they've ever done. Yes.
Because this is such a primal energy that actually takes over the reptilian brain of a sexually turned on masculine. And because sexuality has been mutated for all of us, and we all have to step into the journey of embracing it in its beauty, in its innocence, in its divinity. All of us together, the feminine and the masculine.
Yes, because
to shift it to a better place.
Yes.
Because obviously the masculine is obsessed with this energy, and it comes out in an abusive way.
Because they don't understand the art of the energy. You know, it's not about you getting off. It's about you tuning in. It's about you connecting. It's about you rising. And you're not going to do that if it comes from an abusive or an entitlement, right? How can you tap into those beautiful sensual gifts if you think, you know, the wham bang, thank you, man, and that's all they're there for, right? How can you tap into the beauty of that sensuality, of really connecting with someone on all of the senses, the look, the touch, the words, the anticipation, not, again, I keep using the word, the fornication. We want people to make love, not screw, which is really
Yes,
all they know how to do right now. And with that, how could they
exactly.
ever actually understand the beauty of sensuality or sexuality?
So I think us as women, we have a great gift in
And a job.
mirroring that. Because we are also being the mothers that grew the
Yes,
masculine in the years.
yes, I know.
And actually, and what did we, when I say we, I'm talking about our lineages going back hundreds of years, without blaming, just looking at the reality
Yeah.
of our history. Just not so many years ago, women couldn't dance or sing or show
Vote.
empathy to animals. They
No.
were persecuted for that.
Yes. Yes.
And so there was, I mean, we can't ignore that, because that is a huge piece in the feminine tribe.
Right.
That was a huge break in the sisterhood.
Right. If you were a healer, you clearly had to be a witch. So
Yes,
burnt at the
exactly.
stake or ducked or anything else, which of course is completely
Yeah.
fear and control driven. You know, it's
Yes.
we've seen through the and we're seeing it now, the person who uses fear as a control. And as human beings, we're so easily stepped into fear. Instead
Yeah.
of questioning, why don't we step into questioning? You know, is there something to be afraid of? Why must I go down this road? Is there some better way of doing it? Why is it that we are so triggered by fear and then we lose all form of control?
Fear and love are the same energy,
Yeah.
the opposite. So places of fear needs to be filled with more love, and
Yeah.
that's a part of the evolution. That's part of the process.
And part of the questioning, I think I think we've got to stop buying what other people are selling and start questioning what it is they're trying to sell us. And, you know,
Yeah.
we know that life is an inside job. We have to
Yeah.
tap in to, you know, the soul, the heart, the spirit, to mind. We have to make that connection, because nothing is going to make sense on the exterior until we go into the interior of ourselves.
Yes. And the journey within includes dealing with the mother and the father wounds that
Yes.
all of us carrying. And it's only when we move away from the voices that our parents used, which became our internal voice, sometimes subconsciously.
Yes.
So this is the work that we clear our filters through which we perceive reality. And all those filters, we have been conditioned as young souls journeying on in this sensitive body.
Yeah.
And so part of the work is to question, as you said, what is actually coming from our heart,
Yeah.
and what we have been indoctrinated with.
Yes. You know, there's just the same old pattern that's obsolete. Or, you know, the beautiful word choice. Can I step into my choice and say, this is not for me? Can I be exploratory and discover what is for me? Can I be willing to be vulnerable enough to go in and face those wounds and release them and heal them? You know, that
Yes.
we must be more inquiring. We must be more allowing of ourselves to express, to explore, to become. And that it comes down to a choice. You know, oh, I don't have a
Absolutely.
choice. You all have choices. Even not making a choice is a choice, right?
Yes, yes. And you know, my work starts with the choice of making the decision to become the hero or the heroine of our
Right.
life, rather than the victim of our story.
Right. Yes.
Because we all carry a story.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's stay there for a moment. Victim
Yes.
of our story. I can tell you, of all the 1,400 shows I've done over the last 6 years, I would say the common denominator to everybody's wounds and everybody's struggle and everybody's challenge in life has come from the injured child. It's not all sexual abuse or physical abuse. Sometimes it's neglect. Sometimes it's not being allowed or encouraged to do what they needed to do, or loss in the family. But it all has something to do with that child that was not taught to love themselves, love life, and be love itself. It was always about the expectation of what they should be rather than the discovery of who they were.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And that ran in generations.
Yes,
And
cellular. Yeah.
so it's in our cellular memory. And I
Yes.
feel that we are now in such a powerful transitional times, because it's the first time ever in history that we are free to talk,
Yes.
that we can share, you know, from other sides of the world. We can
Yes.
share this wisdom with so many other listeners. This is true freedom. It's not for granted.
No, and a long time coming. I mean, and this is where we really do have to thank the internet. Now, the internet has the deep dark web, which is evil,
Yes.
you know, and we know that there is the human tendency to go to the dark, because that's all the darkness people have known. This new light that we're telling people, this light, loving light that ignites our heart and our souls and our spirits into beingness, into doingness, into being a part of that beautiful orchestra of life, is something that's always been there. But it's only recently, in the last few years, that we have actually been able to see that light. And for some, it's quite blinding, and for others, an invitation. But it's a way that we have to take as humanity, isn't it? We have to take this road right now.
Yes, yes, yes. This is our time to shift.
Yes.
It was it, and for me, I also have to bring the point that everything is perfect the way it is, because simply it is. So it was all part of evolution. If we look at the bigger picture, we've been through matriarchy.
Yes.
We've been through patriarchy.
Yeah.
And now we're moving into the heart chakra in our chakra system evolution, planetary evolution. And this is the time to integrate the masculine and the feminine, to know that there is no one better than the other, that they are complete
yin yang.
Yin yang.
Need
Exactly.
of each other, the balance.
Yeah,
this is the balance, isn't it?
Yes,
and
yes,
we need one another. Is it about women's rights or just men's rights? It's about human rights, and it's about coming together, right? Yeah,
in love
with kindness and caring and love. I mean, it's love makes the world goes round. It's terribly corny, but you know what, the truth is the truth, right? And the truth is very simple. Loving yourself in kindness and caring will exude that love out to others.
Absolutely. And so the journey is total self-love.
Yeah. Yes.
In this body.
Yes.
Total self-love through the senses, through pleasure.
Right. Exactly. What's wrong with pleasure?
Exactly.
Nothing wrong with it at all.
Oh, pleasure is our birthright.
Yes.
It's also been taken away in all sorts of mind alternations.
Yes.
You know, especially as women, the martyr,
Oh, I'm so tired of the martyrdom of women. Come on, women. No more, please.
No more. Pleasure.
More. Yes.
You are first.
And we can step into our sensual and sexuality with the invitation is to all to join us. But again, the message out to men is that this isn't an invitation for sex. It's an invitation for you to step into your sensuality and come dance with us, right? You know, not everything goes back again to the wham bang, thank you, ma'am. That you're never going to get satisfaction out of. But when you step into the central sexuality of who you are as a being, and you're willing to dance in that energy, now you understand a totally different dimension, totally different realm.
Yes.
But it's
and my sense is a woman that is in her sexual power, in her essence. She's so powerful that men will feel it as well.
Oh, yes, exactly. A presence about them, you know, that they want to know and they want to be around. You know, my daughter is that, naturally, my older daughter. I call her the butterfly. and she goes around pollinating flowers around the world, and she leaves memories where everybody remembers her. She leaves a lot of broken hearts too, because she's one of those people that just goes in like a free spirit and just, you know, it lives life on this exuberance, and it leaves people with that signature. And it's like, oh, Tabitha, when are you coming back? You know, and that's always the feeling, because she's a bit of a whirlwind, but it's just going in and igniting them up into something else. And that's a beautiful gift to have. And it's what we all need to be, isn't it? How do we get there? How do we heal the wounds? Because the wounds were done to our body, which affected our psyche. But I think it's before we heal the physical wounds, we have to heal the psyche wounds, don't we?
Healing always done through the body.
Okay.
It is somatic experience that shifts stagnant energies and places of you know, any form of trauma, whether it's sexual or not, has had a very potent, energetic
imprint
on us.
Right.
And it sits in the body. It sits in the body, and it actually consumes energy.
Yes. Yes.
To hold it in one place. And so, and this is the wisdom of our body to protect itself. This is all very well needed survival mechanism that the body had to adopt in order to carry on living.
Yeah.
And so when we're young and tender, we don't have the capacity to deal with the intensity of it.
Right.
And therefore we somehow store it in the body, we armor it energetically, and we keep it there kind of under control. And it's there, it's in the body, and it's taking its energy, and it's affecting the flow of our energy.
Yeah.
And it's when we first of all accept, that's the first step, that we had pain, or we have pain, we had been through any form of trauma, or whatever our story is, we all carry that. There's no exception.
Yes.
When we accept that whatever happened, now let me heal it from this place where I'm at now.
Right.
And it's always about moving the energy. So it's always, for me, healing always comes down, if I have to really say it in a nutshell: breath, movement, sound, and touch.
Yes.
That's how healing happens. And because it's our traumatic experiences usually happen in relationship, in relating to the other, healing also very effective through the other. Because we are human beings in a context of relationships.
Yeah.
So it's, having a good therapist, or even a friend or a lover, or somebody that we trust, that we love, that is willing to go with us through this process, is very beneficial.
Yeah.
And so it's really about clearing those stagnant energies and those places of stagnation, and making more space within the body, making the body as a safe place to rest.
Right.
Because what happens in trauma is that we lose that safety within the body.
Yes. Yeah. Everything clenches, doesn't it? In trauma, in fear, and everything, everything clenches. And then what the body needs, as the body is fluid, and everything around us is fluidity, energy is fluidity, it has to flow through. And if you've got something clenched, the energy can't get through it. And when we have pain, we clench it and we store it. And then we wonder why our bodies start breaking down. And it's because the energy isn't going through, isn't feeding us. It's getting blockages wherever that is. And so you start ending up with pain or disease or some other issues that are going on, and you don't know why or where they came from, right?
Yes. And it's the body communicating to
Yes.
us. Something is out of harmony.
Yes.
Something needs our attention. This is time to expand and grow and heal. And yeah, so it's always any condition, any form of pain or sensation is a gift from the body communicating, trying to get our attention.
Hello, can you hear me? You're hurting. Why are you hurting? You didn't fall down. So what's going on here? Don't rush off to the doctor to get a drug to numb it when the doctor
Yes.
doesn't know what's wrong with it. Be
Yes.
willing to unravel that onion and look at the various layers, and you'll find a layer in there of where you were wounded. And you need to clear that wound, otherwise you cannot move on. And that is, I think, is something that most people don't. I don't want to go back there. I don't want to revisit that. And you're not
Yes.
asking people to go back and relive the pain, but it's to go and acknowledge that pain so you can release it.
It's also allowing what is there to be there without judging, criticizing,
Yes.
trying to push away or resent. It's about sitting with what is and allowing it to be, feeling it. It's really about feeling it, all of it.
Hugging it. There, I love you. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even if needed, then finding a healthy release to let it out of the body. And I know that in my personal journey, I had so much anger and disappointment and very deep emotions that needed an outlet.
Yes. Yes.
And so by allowing that to be and being in movement, whether it's a conscious dance or any form of sport or yoga, when we allow those feelings to be there,
Expressions, yeah.
They lose their grip on us. They starting to soften.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not going to forget. Because you're not meant to forget. But what it is, you don't hurt anymore because of it.
Yes.
And one of the problems is if you don't deal with it, not only is your body going to break down, your spirit going to break down, and you're denying yourself that beautiful beingness of who you are, but you're also not going to trust anybody ever again. Oh, that happened to me once. I'm never going to go down that road again. And it's like, but who are you denying there? Who are you denying all the beauty and the love? If you look at any scientist or any creativity, it's never the first time that anyone gets it right. So again, when it comes to a love of someone else, you have to be willing to go through, the few frogs to get to the prince. But you've also got to take that journey of self-love and self-healing, because when you step into a resonance and a vibration of love, that's the love that's going to be matched. So if you're coming from the wounded person, distrust, wound, and pain, you're going to either invite the person who's going to do it to you again, or somebody who's also wounded and unable to heal themselves.
So what happens is that we attract those people that will help us to see our wounds so they can be healed. So by choosing not to go through the journey of healing, this avoidance is causing a lot of other pain.
Yes.
Because our higher self keeps calling us home all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Our soul purpose is calling us. What we came here to do is knocking on our inner door, whether we hear it or not.
Yep, our instrument in the orchestra of life. What is it? And are you playing it?
Exactly. So if you're not cleaning and tuning your instrument, then spirit will do it for you. Then it will come in a form of an accident or a huge grief or some kind of, because this is part of the journey that we all here to work as human beings. We are here also to experience pain.
Yes.
This is part of the spectrum of feelings. We
How will
all
you
going to
know joy
experience.
without knowing pain?
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly, exactly.
But also
That's
sometimes in certain pain, and I'm not talking, whips and things like this, but certain pain,
mm,
kind of being willing to go through the pain is very central, right?
mhm.
Because
Yes,
in
like
feeling the pain to release the pain is a
yeah,
very central experience.
yes. And a great teacher for me was giving birth. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I've got 3 children that I've birthed at home,
Wow. Good
and
for you.
going through that rabbit hole of the pain,
Yes.
fully feeling it
Yes. And no exit. The only exit is that
was,
baby coming
yeah,
out.
that baby's coming out, was such a powerful initiation
Mm-hmm.
for me
Yes.
as a woman, as a mother.
Yeah.
Pain is there, grief is
Right.
there. We
Yes.
all gonna feel grief. We all gonna lose somebody we love.
Right.
We
Yes.
all
Yes.
gonna have our heart broken at least once.
Yes. Yep.
It's
It's
the
the way it
human
is.
array of feelings.
It's
That's
the
the
journey of
journey.
life. That's the journey.
That's
Yeah.
the journey of
And the
life.
thing about giving birth is you're in the most excruciating pain. Then that
Yeah.
baby comes out and you hold that baby, and what pain?
Mm.
All you have is
Yeah.
just an euphoric feeling of love that you
Yeah.
wonder how ever you never loved like this before. Now you can
Yeah.
love your spouse, you can love your partner, but there's something about that child in your arms. I had my daughter here yesterday who recently got married, and I don't get to see them so much now because they're all older and moving on in life, but it doesn't matter. They're my babies, even though she's 5'10". My son's 6'2". They're my babies
Yeah.
forever, and you never forget
Forever.
that beautiful
Mhm.
connection. It's just that is a God-given gift of motherhood. And the same,
Mhm.
I think now, because we're seeing fathers become more immersed in the raising of children, the
Mhm.
connection to holding that child and realizing, okay, they didn't go through the pain, but if they're there with the woman going through the pain, there's a little more appreciation. But holding that child, and that it's not about, oh yeah, got another one, smoke a cigar with the buddies, but hold that child and make that bond, make that connection. That connection of love is such a beautiful central connection, because all of a sudden every single thing about you is awoken in
Mhm.
this one little tiny package. And you know what? It's not necessarily just having a child. It could be bringing home a kitten or a puppy or any of these
Yeah.
other things. They ignite that love and that caring in us, don't they?
Yes. Such gifts.
Oh, yes.
Pets are, and
Yes.
yeah, children are our best teachers,
Yes.
aren't they?
They can be our pain in the butt, but they're our glory.
Part, part of the teaching.
Yes. And they're going to take you on a roller coaster in life,
Yes.
and they're going to take you through the greatest joys in life. The
Yeah.
most worry, the most joy, but they're really going to tap into your senses.
Oh yeah, they will trigger all those points that
Yes.
you still need to grow, because
Yes.
they see through it. They know
Yes.
you so well, and
Yes.
they see through it, and they don't
Mirror
try
back.
to show it.
No. No, they
Or to
don't.
verbalize it. So you constantly, I'm constantly checking myself
Yes.
I've got amazing relationship with all my children. They are
Yeah.
beautiful and special, and yeah, they reflect me, and you know what, I take it.
Yes, I know. And
When they
sometimes
take me,
it's
when
like,
they say something, I
really?
take it. Yeah, yeah,
But
there's some of that really.
I know, I know,
There
I know. I
is
get a
something
lot of it.
about it.
Yes, and also, although I've kind of done the work, I realize that there's still some residual patterning with me.
Mm,
And
mm,
when it comes into self-worthiness, or
mm,
who would want to love me,
mm.
I know I'm a difficult person to love, and I've got a peculiar energy too. And
Okay,
you know,
just notice what you say there,
yeah.
because you are not hard to love.
Well, I'm still single and guys seem to run from me. So I'm not sure why, but obviously something I'm exuding out there. And then, of course, the kids come up with a statement, and it's like, it's not something you want to hear, but you don't realize that you think, oh, well, I've done the work, I've done this, I've done that. And then they pick something up from you. and it's like whoosh, in your face,
Yes.
and it's like,
Yes.
no.
Yeah.
And you want to go, no, 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 not right. And you go, yes, 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 it is. But your children and your friends, and it's like, don't come dumping on somebody because they're being honest with you. It's not an attack. It's not a criticism. It's a reflection. And if you don't want that reflection out there, listen to people and let them reflect back what they're seeing. Because obviously what they're saying is, I'm not seeing your inner beauty. I'm seeing that outer fear come up.
And also we all human.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
we're not perfect as being in this temporary body.
Yep.
We go through emotions. We have days that we feel tired.
Yes.
And irritated, and
Yeah.
it's okay. This is part
Yes.
of being human.
Yes, it is.
Also, compassion towards
Yourself. Hugely. I interviewed a woman who's on this week, which will be next week, last week. She has 15 children, and she's birthed 13 of them. And she's been in hospital 3 times for anxiety. But now she's qualified to actually coach other parents on the triggers, the anxiety, the delegating, the not being it all. And, you know, as a woman, whether you're a mother or whether you're anything else, we're inclined to take it all on. It's okay, I can cope with it. I can be everything you want me to be. And it's like, at the expense of what? At the expense of who? Because it's going to be you that's going to pay the price. And I think as women, we have to be able to say this word, no. I'm honoring myself right now. No, I can't. Hard one for women, isn't it?
Very hard. Also been engraved in years of
What, love myself, give myself time, you know, care for myself. What are you talking about? I don't have time for that.
Not to brag is almost a sin, and you know, I've got this bragging exercise bragging exercise that I really like to bring into my ceremonies and my women gatherings that I do. And it always creates so much juiciness and fire when women start to brag and say, I'm actually a good mother, and I'm actually an awesome writer or
lover or whatever. Exactly. Own it.
And other women really just enjoy this sharing of bringing ourselves up so we can all rise up.
Yes, that's the point. It is about rising up. My song last year for the year was Andrea Day's Rise Up. And, you know, it's the theme song for my year because it is about us rising up, not pitchforks or in arms, but arm in arm. It's rise up, raise your vibration, raise that loving vibration within you, exude it out, join with another arm, black, white, pink, yellow, polka dot, who cares what sex, alien, non-alien, I don't care. It's in the vibration of love. Lock arm in arm and raise that vibration. And we are seeing this have an effect now. We are seeing that shift is happening. And thank God, because we need it. But that isn't waiting for someone else to do it, is it? Is that empowerment and that ability lies within each one of us. So this stepping into a beautiful, sensual, sexual, sensual beings is something the planet needs from us, right? So
yes, Mother Earth is telling us.
The universe, Mother Earth, the balance between father and mother, you know, is they've been having a lot of fighting because nobody was listening. The harmony wasn't there, right? And we need to bring that harmony. We're the kids here, and we've been playing naughty for a long time, and mother hasn't been able to speak to us because we've been switched off, and father hasn't been able to speak to us because we haven't been tuned in. And so it's now, how do we hear the divine message if we're not willing to open up?
Yes, and very important piece here that is also missing from our collective awareness, it's an ancient knowledge that has been lost, is our cyclic nature as women connected to the moon. You know, for me, I reflect back, and I only learned in my mid-20s that my menstruation had anything to do with the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that it's such a fundamental piece for us as women, because we are going in seasons and cycles. That this is how our body operates. And when we understand that, and when we tap into the energy of the cycle, then we float rather than trying to swim against the flow, you know, uphill. Or
Absolutely.
yeah, so
I'm
working with that.
going to introduce you to someone who actually devised a wonderful calendar on the menstrual cycle of what each week you are in the right cycle to do. So when you come off your menstrual cycle, you're actually in a high energy. It's a great time for planning and creativity. You can implement it the next week. The next week, you're already winding down, you know, slowing down, needing to nurture. And then that week of menstrual, nobody asks you to do anything. It's self-caring time. And she actually created a magnet and little things that could go on there, and she could put it, it's this week. So the family could see, okay, don't go and ask mum for this, or don't go and ask the wife for this at this time, right? This week where we have to honor the state of beingness that she's in. And I think that is something that's absolutely wonderful, because you are actually giving people around you the ability to understand that the cycle that you're in is what was given to you. This is part of womanhood, of the cycle of our of birthing, and we go through these cycles, and we have to honor that, because this is how we prepare to give birth, how we prepare to birth ideas, how we prepare to birth inspiration, and we must acknowledge the process of what we go through.
Absolutely, acknowledge and work with it.
Yes,
you know, I found that there are, it's and it's not a weakness.
No,
it's actually where our power lies.
Yes.
You know, I found, I mean, you know, I hate tidying up, especially papers. It's my worst. But there's one moment in the month that if I catch that moment, I can stand till 2:00 in the morning to do that, because I just have the energy. So I keep those things to those times. And then I don't need to bother myself for the rest of the month, because I'm not there.
Right. Pay attention.
So, pay attention.
Right? Pay attention to your own cycle. Right?
Exactly.
It's like, oh, you really got to do this creative paper right now. No, I'm not in the creative mind. Suddenly you get into the creative mind, and it's everyone else. I'm in that. I'm in that zone. Recognize your zones.
Yes. Through your body.
Yes.
How does your body feel in relation to the moon? The moon is guiding us.
But, you know, we are inclined to look at the weather as weather, and we don't realize that there's just an amazing amount of energy that it carries as hertz, vibrational hertz. We should be resonating on around a 500, 560 at a vibration where we actually resonate in a state of love and well-beingness and positivity. Anything lower than that, that's when we are fluctuating into the negativity. And we don't realize that every single thing on this planet has its own vibrational signature. Every single thing has its own unique DNA signature. And if, you know, I can go for a walk and talk to the trees talk back to me. No, I'm not crazy. I'm tuned in. And, you know, the rustle of the leaves, or the way the wind blows them, the little sounds that come through that, is it talking my language? No, it's talking to my heart. It's talking to my soul. It's talking to my spirit. If we get out of this narrow-mindedness and open up and realize that nature, the planet, and each other has a different signature and language, and we're willing to harmonize with that, we'll be so much more peaceful.
Yes, tuning to nature.
Yes.
This is a very important for healing, to know that we are part of the bigger picture of this energy, of this cosmos, of it's the same life energy that makes us grow, and the trees and the leaf fall, and everything happens just as it happens.
Yes.
We're all part of it.
In death as in life. You know, if for me personally, I'm not into the burying, because I think the land is for the living. But now you've got this beautiful thing where either they can take your ashes, or they can actually take your body and plant you with a tree, And
Yes.
from your essence comes this tree. That means you continue to live on, and all your beautiful energy, it continues to live on. And that's what you really want in life, is that this beautiful energy that is no longer needed in this vessel. It still is around. So if you can harness it into something that can serve. Imagine having a beautiful forest of people that have gone before with all that lovely energy there. Imagine the orchard of wisdom that would be
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Awesome.
Awesome. I love that as well. The forest of our ancestors.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be that. Yeah.
I think that will the way that we do go in the future, and you know, I call all my past shows here the Orchard of Wisdom, ready for clicking, because no show is out of date. It's all speaking to us at whatever level we're ready to hear.
Yes.
Right? It's like a library where you go and read a book that was written 20 years ago, and it's your epiphany. Or you read it 20 years ago, and now you're ready to truly hear it. You know, that's the thing, is we have to, again, be ready. You heal the wounds. You take people into actually understanding their flow, their connection, their rhythm, the fluidity of themselves, and how to tap into that. You help people go through the process of releasing and allowing and permission to be. But if a person is not ready to step up and participate, you can't help them.
No, you can't. You can't. And I've learned that that lesson very early in my therapy journey, because I definitely started as a young young woman and wanted to help everyone to heal themselves. I remember working in a health shop 20 years ago and trying to heal everybody on every level. And I realized that you can only go as far as the other person is willing to go. And so it comes back to the personal decision, to the personal choice, whether we are willing to purify and heal these vessels so we can uplift our frequency and we can enjoy richer life with all the joys and pleasures and bliss that is around us and available for us and is our birthright.
Right. That's what we were here for. We were given everything we needed.
We've been needed,
I mean, it's not just the food and the substance. We were given all of the abilities to tap and be our own generator, our own generator of love, our own generator of energy, our own generator of purpose, our own generator of exuberance. It's all lies within us. And everything around is there to show us the way. But we've got to step up and be willing to take the journey. And no, it's not a downloadable app. It's not a quick fix, right? It is a process. And you're going to get through that process, you know, as deeply as you delve into it. You'll come, and there is no avoiding it.
There is no avoiding. There is no spiritual bypassing.
No bypassing at all. You have to be willing to go through it. But who you become when you get to the other side. Yes, that's really it. The discovery of you. Right? And the beauty of your beingness and your purpose and your energy exuberance and what you resonate out to other people is the inspiration and the invitation for them. So you don't just owe it to you, you owe it to everyone else around you.
Exactly. Well said. Yes. Yes.
But again, it comes down to our choice. Are we willing to help ourselves? Right? And there isn't a one answer fits all. You do it this way, where you take people through connecting to Mother Earth, connecting to self through their sensuality, their sexuality, they're tapping into their beauty of beingness. And you know, when we talked about touch, it's not waiting for someone else to touch you. It's things touch you on the inside, you know, that make you smile. But there's nothing wrong with you taking yourself in your own arms and loving yourself and stroking your own brow at times of stress, you know, rubbing your own hair, rubbing your own body, doing whatever else you want to do it to pleasure it. It's okay to do that. There's nothing sinful, dirty, or shameful about it. It's the most beautiful release and a way of loving yourself.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yes, because masturbation has its own. yeah, connotation that, yeah, coming back to loving the body.
Yes, yes, yes. And you know, whether, however far you take it, you know, the thing is it's not just, oh, just a sexual release. Well, sometimes it maybe is, you know, just a chemical sexual release, but it's more of an attunement and in touch with yourself.
Yes. And the magic that
Mm.
is in the mystery of our sexuality, there's so much magic that also has been swept away
Yes.
and yeah, somehow lost. And
Right.
I really want to share my own personal discovery about
Mm.
it, because for me to claim that, it's quite a big thing. I received my first orgasm when I was 9 years old.
Mm.
And I didn't know what it is. It was traumatic experience on the one hand.
Right.
It was through hand stimulation of my stepfather.
Mm.
And it wired up my sexual energy with so much shame
Yeah.
and disgust
Mm-hmm.
and blame and many other lower frequency energies that were wired with my orgasmic flow for many years.
Right.
And I knew that, especially when I grew up and matured, and, you know, I've been with my husband for 22 years. So I feel very comfortable with him, and our intimacy is very deep, and he was there supporting me throughout my journey of healing. And it was so deep and so in so many layers and levels of myself that I really needed to dive in and go through my triggers and rewire my brain
Right.
to unattach it from the initial marriage with those kind of energies. And I went, okay, my journey, you can read in my book, because
Yes.
I really tell about my healing journey and what I did and how and where. And, you know, I've traveled wide and far to find the right therapists, and because I knew that I want to shift it. I don't
Yeah.
want to live my life where my turn on actually,
Triggers.
it actually carries the abuse on.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Yeah, the guilt or the shame of it, because I think in your case, a lot of people that get sexually abused, there is no pleasure in it, it's pain. You had an
Mm.
orgasm. Well, how can I have this orgasm where I feel so good when I
Yes,
know this is so wrong? Am I
yes,
guilty for having this orgasm? Did I
yes,
enjoy it? Did I ask for it? And, you know, and all
yes.
these things that you go through. And it's
Mm.
like the orgasm is a natural process of the body. If the body was having an orgasm, the soul or the spirit
Exactly.
wasn't, right? And
Yes,
but
exactly.
it's the whole thing. But how can I get pleasure from something going on that's so wrong? And
Mm.
you immediately take on the guilt and the blame.
And I did for many years,
Yes.
and it's only in the last few years that I'm actually able to talk about it, because
Mhm.
it was so shameful and
Yeah.
so deep. And and what shifted my understanding about it is it's the knowing that we are all wired for pleasure.
Yes.
If you look at little children, they are so tactile and they
Yeah.
love to be touched and
Yes.
stroked and being feeling good. And
Hmm.
this is our natural desire or
Hmm.
receptivity that we
Yeah.
are all born with. And so throughout my journey, I've discovered that actually the orgasm is our higher place of manifestation. And so this is where we are connected to the gods,
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
spirit, to however you want to call it, something higher than
Right.
us,
Yes.
life itself.
Yeah.
And if you look at The Secret, when it came out
Hmm.
a couple of years ago and brought alive this old message that we are manifesting our reality with the thoughts and the feelings that we carry. Those
Yeah.
vibrations create our reality. And so our orgasm is the peak
Yes. Yes.
of this energy of our thoughts and our feelings in that very moment of connection.
Yeah. Yeah. And it reminds me of the Celestine prophecy back in the 70s was kind of the secret of the time. But, you know, talking about orgasm is, you know, men don't understand is how they can have one and women can have a lot. You know, aren't you finished? No, that was just opening the door. You know, and when if you're interested, if you're in that right space, a woman can have multiple orgasms, one after the other. And if a guy's totally immersed in it, he can have multiple orgasms as well, because you're riding that energetic wave. And it's literally like a dimensional climb, isn't it? From one orgasm to the other until you reach an etheric, orgasmic etheric state where it is out of body experience. And it's really wonderful when you have the right person that you can do that with, and what they get out of it is they're in that vibration, they're traveling with you, and it's very exaltative as well. But you've just got to be willing to explore each other, give time to each other, open up to each other. It's not going to happen overnight, but be willing, you know, what touch here, what touch there. It doesn't have to be anything really sexual. It could be just a, you know, stroke on the back of the neck or down the arm, or whatever the case is. What connection turns people into that vibration? And that's that willingness again to be in tune and in touch with ourselves and then with our partners.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, our partners, when they are resting within our bodies, for them it's the highest connection that they have to connect to the cosmic womb of Mother Earth.
Yes.
And our sexual energy is healing energy for ourselves and for our partners.
Yes. Oh, on so many ways.
On so many ways.
The spiritual way, the cosmic way, the stress way, the releasing of all the beautiful energy in our body. I mean, it just is, you know, a lot of people talk about, you know, having sex as a physical healing of many diseases. Yes, but not just, again, the fornication. It is, that can do it on a chemical level, but when you truly make love, you know, when you really step into that sexuality and you are willing to ride those different levels, the releasement of the energy in your body then is just, it's amazing how you can feel. But again, permission, free will, making a choice, being willing to take this journey one step at a time, no quick, not about the destination, oh, I want to get to the other side. No, the journey itself is extraordinary. What you discover about yourself along the way, and you're going to miss that if you're taking long strides. Sometimes there's a stride to take, sometimes it's the small baby steps. And also be willing, the people you meet on the way, whether it's, you know, I have a whole program about the signs of life, and we miss the signs because we're looking for a sign that we perceive is important. And we forget that it's the little person on the corner or the person here or the little sign there that's really leading us to where we need to go. And if we're so much in a hurry, we're going to miss that. If we don't become interactive, we're going to miss that. If we block ourselves off with distrust and fear, we're going to miss that. So again, connection with self, with what's around us, be willing to ride that energy is going to connect us. And it can be fun, can't it? This exploratory of our sensuality, our sexuality, our beingness, the healing as you go through it. It really is a lot of fun. You look back and go, my God, who did I used to be? I really like where I am now.
Yeah, finding all the special jewels and gems and keys along the way, along the journey, all those keys that will open so many doors for us. By embracing what we've been through, by embracing the totality of our journey, and by having a lot of compassion to ourselves, even our dark side. That's embracing that as well as part of our totality.
And I think the important thing is, and it certainly was in my journey, I used to be in the darkness in apathy, didn't want to come into the light, didn't care. And I think that's
Mm,
really dangerous because there's neither love or
mm,
hate there. It's just
mhm.
don't care. And the journey
Okay.
out was a long one. Now
Mm,
I can be in the darkness and see the light and see the clarity. And that's really what you want to be. Darkness is not your enemy. It's who you are in the darkness,
yes.
right?
Yeah, the way I see it is darkness. Yeah, there's a difference between darkness and shadows.
Yeah.
So the darkness is, it's the part of the yin and the yang. So it's
Mm-hmm.
the night, and it's the place of creation. It's the womb.
Mm-hmm.
The shadows is what we are bringing into light. This is what we're unveiling in our journey.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm.
And you know
Mm.
that, you know, the station is called self-discovery, and in our
Yes.
self-discovery of who we are, how awesome we are, what our instrument and our gift is, what we're here to do, the effect that
Mm.
it can have on each other, that's when we're truly really understanding what life is all about. What's the meaning of
Yes.
life? That's the
Mm.
meaning of life. That
Yes.
self-discovery of who you are, what you're here to do, how awesome you really are, and how you can share that with the world. That
Mm.
really is all that it's about, because sharing that awesomeness and raising that vibration into that crescendo orchestra is what resonates
Yes.
out to everyone else. Now, you've
Yes.
got a three-part program. Can
Mhm.
you tell us about that and how people can join it?
So I'm gonna leave a link. Can I leave a
Yes,
link?
please give the link and tell us what it's all about.
So this is a taste of healing sexual wounds, of transforming them into our power. So yeah, it's a taste of my full program that's gonna come out 2019, around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And it's deeping into the journey of healing. This is starting, igniting the body, into moving through that phase, so we can rise up as sovereign sexual women. It's geared for women, and rising to the next level of our evolution, where we can enjoy our sexuality when it's flowing free.
Yeah.
And we can tap back into our playfulness, our innocence, our divinity.
Yes.
That's coming back to the divinity and sacredness. But we do have to clear
Mm-hmm. Can't
past
take the
residue.
garbage. Yeah, can't take the
We
garbage with you.
can't take the garbage with.
Yeah.
And I've created this program for women that have experienced molestation or rape or any form of intrusion to their body. To start this journey of healing.
Right. And how is this program done? Is it something they listen to, sign up to? If they do sign up, how do they sign up with you?
There's a page where they place their email address, and they receive into their inbox these 3 video practices to watch.
And that would be www.nunaisi.com/free mini series,
Yes,
right?
thank you.
And
Yes.
and of course your website is nunaisi.com, and so they can find all the other information there as well. And when the
Yes.
book does come out, that will also be there. We'll also post it here on the page as well. And your Facebook is Nunaisi. No, I'm not honoring it. Sorry, I'm terrible with names. Which is NUNAISI.empowering awakening women, and you can catch her on the Facebook as well there. But sign up for the mini series. The mini series is done how? Is it, can it be anybody from anywhere that can listen to it? Is it in person? How is it done?
It's a recorded videos that
Excellent.
they receive in their email.
So
Yeah, so
even
it's
though you're
easy access.
directing this at women, men who love women who have been
Mhm.
victimized, it's good for
Mhm.
them to watch this so they know how to help their women.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So if you're a couple might be good to do it together if you feel comfortable enough to do it. And then you could be that support, right? Yep.
Yeah.
We all need that help. You know, I've always been a person that's there for other people, you know, counselor, coach all my life, and still am. You know, somebody seems to find me with a need, and I'm a channeler, so I've got the answer that what they need at that time. They need to know it. But it also made me, you know, incredibly independent and hard to ask for help myself. And, you know, I sucked my journey up. I compressed it down, and I got on with being of service to other people until I realized I became the servant to other people because I wasn't placing enough love and value on myself. And that was because the victimization was manifesting through my body in consumption. And it brought about a disease, and it brought about a total disconnect and a devaluing of self. So it's really imperative that we do not leave this and let it ferment. It's really imperative that we ask for the help. This is not a sign of weakness. This is a sign of strength. And getting help from somebody else who's been there, who's gone through it, who understands you're going to take 2 steps forward and maybe 3 back initially until you can get trustful into the rhythm to going forward. But that healing is imperative, because it will consume you in other ways if you don't. And please take it from someone who ignored it, suppressed it, body came back, where if you're okay, you're not going to pay attention to this is what I'm going to do to you. And it's not fun. So be willing to do the work. The old adage, stitch in time saves 9, right? You know, deal with it now before it gets too big and requires 4 stitches. So, and having someone like yourself, you understand what they're going through. You've been there, you've done that, you've gone through it, you've created the process and the encouragement and the knowledge they need to go through it. And that is the best form of teaching in my books, best form of support. So a wonderful program that you have here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Parting words for all our wonderful women out there and men. What would you like to leave them with?
I would like to say that our sexuality is non-negotiable. This is our very primal life force energy. And if you are not right now in a position to orgasm or even enjoy sexuality or enjoy intimate relationship long-term, or find the right spouse, or however, wherever you are, this is not the final destination.
Yes.
We have been given 8,000 nerve endings in our clitoris for a reason.
Yeah. Yes.
For a reason.
Yes. It's not there just to, you know, I don't know, it's there to, everything's there to be used and touched and understand the pleasures, you know, and being pleasured or pleasuring yourself, pleasuring another, pleasuring each other is not like, you know, being oversexed. What it is honoring each other. And it's not the amount of times you do it, it's the amount of time you give it when you do. And, you know, that goes for yourself, it goes for whoever you're with. And it's, don't be afraid of it. You know, don't let media, the movies, dictate what sex or sensuality or what you should be like, right?
Yes. And I want to say that I spend many times crying and laughing in making love, because that was what I needed there. So it has many layers and levels and shapes and colors. And when you have somebody that loves you and is there for you, then this is the beautiful container for growth.
Yes. And when that person knows that those tears are releasement, or that laughing is releasement, you're not laughing at them, you're not crying at them, and they're part of knowing that they're part of that helping you release, it really is a beautiful honor in trust to them, right? To take that journey with you, and it just brings you even closer together.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I highly recommend to open up and be authentic and vulnerable and share your story with your lover.
Yes.
So you can go through this journey together. So your partner, whether it's a woman or a man, they can support you. They
Yeah.
can hold that space for you so you can crack and you can feel everything that moves through you and release all those blockages and perhaps low libido or shut down,
Yeah.
complete shutdown, or however it expresses itself in your behavior, or overdo it. Sometimes women just keeps doing sex non-stop as
Right.
part of their way to deal with the
Right.
abuse. There is no right or wrong or
No.
no judgment.
No.
Everything
No.
is okay
But
the
are
way
you
it
being
is.
honest with yourself? Is it just you're doing it because
Yeah.
everybody else is doing it, or because it's a quick release? Or are you willing to kind of slow down and do it in a way that really means something? And you're right about your relationships, is that if you have really been wounded and you're still maybe not 100% through it, and you feel that there's a relationship there that you want to pursue, open up to the honesty. Let them know that there are certain triggers. There's certain things that you may do that may trigger that, and that those triggers are natural, they're normal, they're going to come up. Don't sit and ferment them. Oh, they did that, so and so used to do that. It is like, please don't do that, that's a bad trigger. Or let's talk about it
Yes.
so that if you do it, it's not going to trigger me. And either one of you, we've all got baggage we're bringing with us, and sometimes it's laying it out there. This I can take, that I can't take. It's just a way of honoring each other.
That's a good recipe for a deep and honoring relationship. And if somebody can't handle the truth of the situation, then they shouldn't be there.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, it
Because
doesn't
they're
mean on your
not gonna.
first date you go through the
No,
list.
no, not
Don't
on
do
a.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
It is, if
It's
you feel
yeah.
you're about to get to that stage and you're going to open
Yes.
that door, then it is disclosure, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
if you feel that you can take that journey with me, then we can go further. If you feel you don't, I honor that. Either we're friends or goodbye. Because
Yes.
you've got to honor
Yes.
yourself, right?
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
got to
Yeah.
honor yourself first and foremost.
Yeah.
Nobody else is going to honor you the way you're going to honor yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Important.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I know it's late for you over there, closing to midnight. The site again is nunaisi.com. And the mini part series is also there, the free mini series. Definitely free, folks. You can't pass that one up. Every single one of us has got a wound somewhere, whether it's sexual or whether it's not. It stops us from having intimacy with self, with other people, with tapping into our beautiful sensual sexuality, of attunement of life, with in touch with self. So anything you can do to deblock, release, and join this beautiful vibrational world is something you need to do. And it is geared for women, but men, if you love your women or you want to understand the pain women go through and how you can help them, this series would be good for you to listen to as well. So Nunaisi, I'm terrible. None, love you. The dyslectic
Nunaisi.
tongue one, no, see. No, see, there we go. My tongue always wants to go the opposite way. It's the old dyslexia. But thank you so much. This has been wonderful. Thank you for sharing your wonderful divine energy and your love and exuberance and caring for those that need to be cared for. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your beautiful show. I really utterly enjoyed speaking to you.
Me too. I really enjoyed it. But you know what? We are bloody awesome.
Yes, we are.
We are actually incredible women. We are incredible people. And this idea of perfection is the perfections in our beautiful imperfections. That's what makes us so beautifully perfect. So own it, love it, be who you are, step into your beingness, right?
Yes.
Thanks so much, love. And
thank you.
To everyone else, remember, please be willing to take the journey. You are worth it, and you will love who you are when you come out the other side. But it's the journey, that's the experience that's going to change everything. So be willing to take it. Until next time, folks, bye for now. For more wonderful shows like this, please go to selfdiscoveryradio.com, podcasts, and see our lineup. And if you wish to support us, we have a funded button. Please stay tuned for our next show.